B'tach b'aseh tov.
My friend, there once was an Israeli Jew, we'll call him Yankel, who had to have a medical procedure. He needed to have his lung transplant. And in Israel, there wasn't so many opportunities. So, upon the advice of his friends, Yankel traveled to America, to New York, and he's on a list, he's waiting. And the way it works is they tell him, listen, you're on a list. As soon as a lung becomes available, the next person on the list comes. When it becomes your turn, then we'll call you up. So imagine how he felt away from his family and friends. Yankel's by himself. And he waits 1 week, another week, 4 weeks, weeks to several weeks. And it's not his turn. Meanwhile, in the interim, an Israeli communal activist came from Israel. And he tells Yankel, listen to me. In New York, the hospital that you're waiting on line for, they do a lot of procedures. One wing and one department is specifically for transplants. I'm traveling out to San Francisco. I want you to come with me, and I'm going to help you out with this procedure. And what's going to happen is this hospital, all they do is transplants. So it's going to be much faster for you. I feel bad you're waiting so long. So Yankel says, okay, but I need to call my wife first to ask her what she thinks. Calls up his wife in Israel. He says, okay, I'll let you go, but on condition that as soon as you land in San Francisco, I want you to call me up and call the hospital to find out if it's your turn in Brooklyn. Because if it's your turn in Brooklyn, you're going right back to Brooklyn. In his mind, he says, okay, sure. He flies to San Francisco. It's a long flight, 5 hours. He comes early in the morning, late at night, sorry. He's like, I'm going to call Israel now. My wife is late at night. She's sleeping to wake her up. I'm here for several weeks. There is no lung available. As soon as I'm on the flight, it will become available. So he goes to the hotel with the askin and he goes to sleep. Next thing he knows, there's bangs on his door. Bam, bam, bam. Opens the door. The LAPD, San Francisco Police Department is there. They tell him, listen, your wife said it's an emergency, call her up. Calls up his wife. She starts screaming at him, of course, for 5 minutes. After she finished screaming at him, she says, okay, so I just got a call from the hospital in Brooklyn that it's your turn. There's 2 lungs available. The way it works is they wait a certain amount of hours, try to contact you. If they can't, then they give it to the next person in line. And they gave the first lung away. But call them back. Hopefully the time didn't pass and you get the second lung. So he calls up the hospital and they tell him, sorry, we followed the protocol, you didn't answer, and we gave the second lung away. Now the askin is hearing it, the Israeli askin. He feels bad now because he schlepped Yankel to San Francisco to try to help him. Now he finds out it really hurt him. Doesn't know what to do. Yankel puts down the phone and starts dancing, singing songs of thanks to Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Askin didn't know what's going on. He thought the guy maybe lost his mind. So he asked Yankel, why are you dancing? Yankel says, what do you mean? You don't realize Ashkocha Pratis? That I have betachin in Hashem. I trust in Hashem. That Hashem sent you specifically. So I shouldn't get those 2 lungs because those 2 lungs are not for me. They're not for me. So Yankel is happy. Asking, okay, he hears him, but he's like doubtful. Meanwhile, Yankel didn't have to find out information. From that year on, every day, the date that he found out that he lost the lungs, he makes a Suda Sada to thank Hashem he was saved from the lungs that weren't for him. He went back to New York, and eventually, several weeks later, he got a transplant. Meanwhile, the Askin wanted to know what happened. He did research later on, follow up on these 2 lungs, and he found out that these 2 lungs, each recipient ended up dying within half a year to a year. Because in the outside, the lungs looked like it was good, but in the inside, something wasn't healthy, and it caused the person to die. Some type of, I don't know what it was exactly. And this is the lesson I need to take to life. whenever something doesn't work out for me, and it seems like this person hurt me, or this guy schlepped me somewhere where I shouldn't have gone, and I missed a different opportunity, you didn't miss anything. God sent that person to take you away from your previous situation. There's no situation that you're going to lose something that's meant for you. What's decided for you is for you. What's not for you, God will send someone from Israel to take you across America to make sure you should not get a lung that's not for you. You should not get anything that's not for you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
B'tah